Welcome to DMT Sessions with Isaac and Pim, live and direct from the ether, observing the matrix from above, helping you navigate the system. It's time to unmatrix yourself. Time is now spiral into spiral out.
Welcome back, I'm your host Pim the Great. This is episode 2, today is Friday, episode 1 was on Monday, and I want to elaborate more on the root of this whole concept of the jabs. Where did this all started and why do they want to evolve humanity? So with that being said, I'm calling this episode Dawn of Man, and let's bring it all the way back. Where did we get here? So first of all, when we look at the history of humanity, for the public eye, there's like two versions in general, right? There's evolution and there's Genesis of the Bible. Now, what a lot of people do not realize is that Genesis has multiple versions. So you have the Christian standard King James version, let's put it like that. But there's also a Freemason version. Now there's this very interesting book, and I highly suggest everybody to read it actually. And it's called Freemasonry and Catholicism by Max Heindel. Look it up. So alright, I'm quoting now from this book. Who is Max Heindel? Max Heindel was a spiritual initiate and messenger of the Rosicrucian Brotherhood, born in Denmark, 1865. Then further it says, he was known for spreading the teachings of esoteric Christianity. The pioneer spiritual teachings which will prepare all humanity for the new age of Aquarius, when all nations will join in universal brotherhood. Doesn't that sound interesting? So, furthermore, what is in this book? What is in this book is that he's pointing out that the Masonic legend has points of variance as well as agreements with the Bible story. It states that Jehovah created Eve, that the Lucifer spirit Samael united with her, and that he was ousted by Jehovah and forced to leave her before the birth of her son Cain, who was thus the son of a widow. Then Jehovah created Adam to be the husband of Eve. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Freemasons are in general also referred to as the sons of a widow. Then Jehovah created Adam to be the husband of Eve, and from their union Abel was born. Thus, from the beginning, there were two kinds of people in this world. One begotten by the Lucifer spirit Samael, and partaking of a semi-divine nature imbued with the dynamic material energy inherited from this divine ancestry, aggressive, progressive, full of initiative, but impatient of restraint or authority, whether human or divine. This class is loath to take things on faith and prone to prove all things by the light of reason. The light of Lucifer, that is. They believe in works rather than faith, and by dauntless courage and inexhaustibility energy, they have transformed and trackless wilderness of the world of a garden full of life and beauty, so lovely in fact that the sons of Cain have forgotten the garden of God, the kingdom of heaven, whence they were exiled by the decree of the lunar god Jehovah. Against him they are in constant rebellion, because he has tied them by the unbiblical cable tow. They have lost their spiritual sight and are imprisoned in the forehead of the body, where it said that Cain was marked, and must wander as prodigal sons in the comparative darkness of the material world oblivious to their high and noble estate until they find the door of the temple as and receive them the light. Then, as pre-Mason, or children of the light, they are instructed in methods of building a new temple without sound of hammer, and when they have learned, they may travel in foreign countries to learn more of the craft. In other words, when the spirit realizes that it's far from its heavenly home, a prodigal feeding up on the unsatisfactory husks of the material world, apart from the Father, it is poor and naked and blind. When it knocks at the door of a mystical temple like that of the Rosicrucians and asks for light, when it receives the desired instruction after due qualification in the building an ethereal soul body, a temple or house eternal in the heavens, not made with hands and without sound of hammer, when its nakedness is clothed with the house, then the neophyte receives the word, the open sesame to the inner worlds, and learns to travel in foreign parts in the invisible worlds, where it takes soul flight into heavenly regions and qualifies the higher degrees on the more direct instructions of the grand architect of the universe, Saturn, who fashioned both heavens and earth. Such is temperament of the widowed sons inherited from the divine progenitor Samuel and given by them to the ancestor Cain. Now excuse my dyslexic ass, and I know that I did not pronounce everything correctly and wrote everything or was reading everything the right way because I have dyslexia, like I mentioned those in the last episode. But hot damn, did you understand what I just was quoting from? What it all was saying? So, to sum that up, there are only two types of people in this world, and one of them are the sons of Cain. The others are the sons of Abel, and we will get into that right now. On the other hand, while Cain, governed by divine ambition, toiled and tilled the soil to make 2 blades of grass grow where there were only one, Abel, the human progeny of human parents, felt no urge or unrest, himself a creator of Jehovah through Adam and Eve. He was perfectly contented to tend the flocks also created by the God, and to accept a livelihood without initiative or labor from their divinely begotten increase. This docile attitude was most pleasing to the God Jehovah, who was extremely jealous of his prerogative as a creator, and therefore he was cordially accepted the offering of Abel, obtained without effort or initiative, but scorned the offering of Cain, because derived from his own divine creative instinct akin to that of his own. Cain then slew Abel, but did not thereby exterminate the docile creatures of the God, for we are told Adam knew Eve again, and she bore Seth. He had the same characteristics, I know I said that wrong, as Abel, and transmitted them to the descendants who to this day continue to trust to the Lord for everything, who live by faith and not by work. So, to sum that up, the sons of Cain, they live by work. They are marked on the head. They are aggressive and progressive. But the sons of Abel, Seth, they live by faith. And they are adored by the Creator Jehovah, while the sons of Cain are banished. Now, I'm not gonna quote the whole book, and it's way longer and way more in depth, and I really, once again, highly suggest you will read it and find the book yourself. Freemasonry and Catholicism by Max Heindel. But it furthermore says that these two kind of people are like fire and water. Who by fire, who by water? You have the philosophers of fire, the sons of Cain. They come from the Samael spirit. And you have the waters of faith, the sons of Seth. They derived from Adam. So if we go along with this whole concept of fire versus water and see how is it embedded in everything around us, especially the religions and the cults, then you can see, okay, Christianity is water. How do we see that? Well, Christians are getting baptized with water, right? Jesus walked on water. Jesus was with fishermen. There's a lot of water concepts in Christianity. Then if we look at fire, what's fire? Fire is light. Who's Lucifer? The light bearer. Who worships the light? The esoteric cults, the mystery schools, Freemasonry, Rosicrucianism, Kabbalah, you name it. All of them, they worship light. They are the philosophers of fire. They are the red shift, the red pill. Haha. So if you understand this now, right? And then you start looking at the matrix and you have the blue pill and the red pill. Blue representing faith, representing water. Red pill represents the work, the fire, the progressiveness, the aggressiveness. Then suddenly you understand the Matrix was a Luciferian movie. Because the Luciferians are humanist in their core. They believe that man can become God. What happened to Neo in the Matrix? He became the one. He became God. This was a Luciferian movie all the way through. Red versus blue, fire versus water. And you can see this in almost all of Hollywood productions. Last night I was watching Snake Eyes, the G.I. Joe offspring. And what do you see? Red cups, blue cups. The main actor, Snake Eye, he wanted revenge, but he had to learn to kill his ego and have faith. Become the blue shift, while the other character, he got betrayed by Snake Eye and had faith, lost it, and turned to the red shift. Now, I hope you understand the concept we just spoke about. So, the red shift is progressive and without faith. What does it represent? Science. Trust the science. Because faith is nature. Faith is having faith in God. What's God? Who's God? That's up to you. But for me, nature is God. And I have faith in nature. Nature will prevail. Science is always adjusting. One day it's truth, the next day, oh no, data said it was not. They will change it because the majority of these scientists are pseudoscientists. They do not practice real science because they first draw conclusions and then actually try it out and test it out and see what the data says. They are not data scientists. They just assume away whatever works best for their agenda. And people think it's science. That's not science. Real science is you first test it out, experiment without judgment, and you keep on doing that until there's no further other conclusions to be drawn than whatever is there available at that moment. But as long you can still test something out else, that's pseudoscience. Now there's another very interesting occult and esoteric writer by the name of Rudolf Steiner. He extensively wrote about Lucifer and Ahriman, two different deities, two different types of spirits, and they totally align with this concept of fire versus water. Lucifer being the redshift fire, while Ahriman represents the physical, the material, the water, the matter. Because fire has no shadow, right? Fire, light, that's the spirit. That's Lucifer. That's represented by Lucifer. By the way, who's Lucifer? The morning light. Once again, that's also embedded in the Snake Eye movie. So if you check that, find out what's called the morning light. Very occult and esoteric wisdom in there. Hidden gems. But anyways, so we have the light and we have the water. We have the material, the nature, the blue shift, and we have the spiritual, the red shift. Now we have the New Age agenda. The New Age agenda is from the Theosophical Society. And what do they want? They want a new root race. They want to evolve people for the New Age, Age of Aquarius, and basically depopulate the majority, kill whoever is not willing to change, to be an initiative of the universal brotherhood, as Max Heindel was saying in his book, that he wants to guide the way to the universal brotherhood for all of humanity, for the New Age, the Age of Aquarius. Now, what are these jabs, these corona jabs doing? They are merging you with technology, right? Or at least they want that. I'm not vaxxed. I know a lot of people that are not vaxxed, but those who are, it cannot be undone. You're heading that way. You are a transhumanist by your own consent because you took something that has not been tested out fully. And they have already said from the beginning, it's mRNA, it has nanoparticles, it is nanotechnology, meaning it's programmed, it's AI, you have AI in your body, good luck. So you are the red shifters, you are marked, you are wearing a mask, most likely, if you are a red shifter, a red pillar. You are afraid, you trust science, you do not trust God, you have no faith. You have made your decision, and we will see what that will lead to, but I'm not with it. And I say, good luck to all of you. You have free will, we all have. There's also destiny, but free will to a large extent, and you can choose what you want to do with your body. They did not enforce it in most countries. You had to even make an appointment to get a jab, right? Maybe you got an invite, maybe you're pushed by your employer, but you are the one who said, okay, I will take it, take the responsibility, because your government and the producers of these jabs, they don't take any responsibility, no liability. It's up to you. So now, where are you standing? Are you a philosopher of fire? Are you the waters of faith? Do you have faith in God, in nature, or do you trust the science? Alright, well, I think that's enough for this episode. I don't want to have too much different content within one episode because then things will go over your head. And I really want you to soak this all up, change your perspective based on what I just gave you. Look up the book, read it. Really, I highly suggested you to do that. And once again, where do you stand? If you're on YouTube, then comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Give it a like, follow. If there's possibility on this platform to give input, give your input. And I catch you on the next episode, and hopefully the rest of my team will join. Peace.